You know it's a bad day for the reagents at the Signala facility when Murkoff brings in another prime asset. But we don't just have a single new prime asset, technically we have two. This is the fourth new addition to the prime asset ranks behind Leland Coyle, Mother Gooseberry and Franco Barbi. Now this prime asset is all kinds of messed up and might just have the other three beat in terms of just how screwed up they are. So let's get into the details. In 1899, conjoined twins Otto and Arora Kress were born in Buffalo, New York, to the Kress Chemical founder Anton Kress. The very product created at Kress Chemicals would go on to play a pretty critical role in the lives of Otto and Arora. See, Anton would bring these chemicals home, and the exposure that they had to their mother contributed to their very conjoining at birth, killing their mother in the process. Only a few years later after the birth, their father's company, Kress Chemical, would begin having financial trouble as stock prices plummet, largely due to Anton's alcohol problem. During this time, however, the twins would show promise in different fields related to their wealthy father. Otto, for example, from a young age would show an interest in politics, showcasing a wise mind and a sharp tongue, while his sister Arora would follow more closely with her father, possessing a talent in chemistry. As they grew older, they would be shunned by society, viewed as monsters, but the twins had a different way of thinking. I'll read out their rough philosophy. You need to discover your passion, nurture your talents. When you belong in a world that tells you that you're unnatural, you indulge in the pleasures afforded to you. They call you monsters, but you have a method. As much science. It's a matter of art, never odd or even. It's a matter of art. As much as science, but you have a method. They call you monsters. You indulge in the pleasures afforded to you. When the world tells you you're unnatural, nurture your talents. They would nurture these talents together, studying, supporting one another, indulging in the pleasures afforded to them, whether it be prostitutes or each other. And yes, you heard that right. Damn it, the twins and Franco would get along very nicely, I feel. In the 1920s, they would gain a reputation for depravity, later nicknamed the Buffalo Minotaur by the press. Otto and Arora would go on to claim 12 different victims in the Buffalo area alone, with many of the community already viewing them as monsters due to their disfigurement. They seemingly lived up to this reputation in the shadows. The victims of choice for the twins were a mixture of vagrants, prostitutes, and Canadians. Sorry to all my Canadian friends out there, not sure why the twins had it out for you guys, but yeah. Their father would read about them in the newspaper, drinking heavily to cope with what his children truly were. See, even when the twins were toddlers, their father Anton would research surgery and anatomy, looking for a way to separate the twins. This would all come to a head in 1924, after Anton read about what his 25-year-old children's misdeeds were in the newspaper. He would then decide to sneak up on Otto and Arora while they slept, injecting Otto with a drug, and begins attempting to separate the twins with a handsaw. It's only due to the quick thinking of Arora, who throws a chemical vial at her father while injecting Otto to reawaken him, leading them to do some pretty messed up stuff to their dear old dad. They would use the handsaw and cut their father in half, viewing it as indulging in their pleasures, since that's what you do when the world views you as unnatural after all. Arora would carefully sew her father back together, but upside down, leaving his arms where his legs should be and his legs where his arms should be, taking careful effort to make sure that he stays alive. They then turn their father into the very thing that he tried to fix of them, keeping him alive for weeks, making him suffer in all types of different ways, including throwing him into the water while they just sat and drank and watched the show. I don't think anyone could surprise me after Franco, but Otto and Arora might just take the cake here, I'll be honest. They would begin taking more control of Kress Chemicals after the unfortunate fate of their father Anton, turning around the financial situation and making breakthrough after breakthrough that would garner Kress Chemical the nickname of the Wizards of the Northeast. It was during 1948 that Congress passed a Federal Water Pollution Control Act, not particularly something that helps a chemical company, let's say. Otto would put his political brain to work, empowering other politicians and manipulating the water pollution regulations from the shadows. It's during this same period of time, during the 1940s, where the Buffalo Minotaur begins claiming more victims than is even known about, splitting up their time between being a political puppeteer by day and a bloodthirsty serial killer by night. The consequences of these actions would, however, catch up on the twins in 1958, after they were arrested at their home, being found covered in blood after one of their many murders. Murkoff already had a business partnership with Kress Chemical by this stage, and the Buffalo Minotaur, in particular, caught the interest of Clyde Perry. After reading about their exploits, Clyde felt that whoever the serial killer was could be invaluable to the Lathe program at Sinala facility. Hearing about the arrest of the Buffalo Minotaur, Clyde Perry acquired Otto and Arora from their police holding cell, being placed into the Chemical Research and Development Division of Murkoff Corporation. They would work closely with Dr. Jun Kusumura, a scientist from Japan that worked with the Axis forces during World War II, but he would later become a CIA asset under Project Paperclip. It's even stated that Arora taught herself Japanese while working in R&D of Murkoff, just so she could speak fluently with Kusumura about chemical science. Shortly after the death of Clyde Perry, Dr. Kusumura would actually speak to Otto and Arora, showing them pictures of Clyde Perry's body, mentioning how he was split in half. Now, they don't have any love for Clyde, stating that the only thing that they wished was that he would suffer no more than the furthest possible limits a man can endure while staying conscious, and are actually disgusted by the manner of his death, with Otto saying, "What God has joined together, let no man rend asunder." The two of them begin reminiscing about their father as Arora begins crying. Kusumura points this out, with Arora stating that she only has sweet memories of her father. Otto tells Arora to ask Kusumura about the other thing that he wanted to discuss, when Kusumura quickly covers his mouth as the chemical cloud fills the room. Otto attempts to run at the doctor, but falls unconscious before he has the opportunity to get to him. Kusumura tells him that it's a big surprise and they'll just have to wait and see what it is when they awake, moving Otto and Arora into the prime asset role within the Lathe program. This was a choice made between Avalanos, Easterman, and Scarfiotti, with Avalanos pointing out that they had told the CIA that they would create politicians, thought leaders, and nobody fits the bill better than Otto and Arora. They would be the perfect candidate. This is of course where you encounter Otto and Arora within the shopping mall program, but that covers the story and the history of the fourth and technically fifth prime assets, Otto and Arora Kress. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it until the end, put twins in the comment below so I know. Also, if you love Outlast content, be sure to keep an eye out on the channel over the next few weeks. I will be releasing a collective prime asset video with up-to-date information on all 4 of the prime assets, as well as going over the new program since the start of Season 4. Not to mention, a continuation of the Outlast timeline video with a bunch more documents and lore that we need to cover. And there might even be some giveaways in those videos, so keep an eye out. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like, as it helps out the channel tremendously, and also subscribe to keep up to date with future videos. Before I go, be sure to check out the Franco Barbi video I did, breaking down the story of the sadistic mama's boy, and all the crazy things that he gets up to. Alright guys, until next time, peace.